Okay, so remember when I said that Avatar and Shaman King are the only two series I've rewatched multiple times from start to finish? Yeah, I'm a big fat liar, and I'm mad at myself. How could I have possibly forgotten one of my favorite cartoon series of all time? Shame on me! Back in 2004, apparently it was the year of the fairies because we were blessed with not one, but two different shows about teenage girls who could traverse worlds and transform into guardian fairies. Those two series were Witch and Wings. I'll be talking about the first one here, but if anyone is interested in a video about Wings, leave a comment and it might happen. Also, this video is going to be full of spoilers for plot points of both seasons and some mentions of events taking place in the comics. You've all been warned. I would like to analyze the things I genuinely enjoyed about the series, not the plot itself, since I would just end up summarizing events in a pretty short-timed video, which wouldn't do it justice. So let's start with the power system, specifically the abilities of our cast. We have 5 friends who are the new guardian fairies of the Veil. Basically, they're the fairy equivalent of benders from Avatar, minus the martial arts. Let's go through the members as listed in the Witch logo. Will, the team leader and the glue of the group. Her role is holding the heart of Kandrakar, which we'll explore further down to explain what it actually is. For now, think of it as a pretty glowing pendant that I would love to own. She's the one with the power to transform the entire group. Later, she gains the power of quintessence, a form of lightning capable of giving and taking life from inanimate objects. She also develops the ability to communicate with electrically powered devices. Irma, guardian of water. Even though water is my favorite element, she wasn't my favorite character back then. She can telepathically control people and change the color of clothing for some reason. Tarani, holder of fire. She's the brains of the group and can telepathically communicate with the other guardians. Cornelia controls earth and plants and was my favorite character as a child. Now she shares that spot with Irma. She also gains telekinesis and partial transformation, making her appear older in human form for some reason. Eventually she learns to hear plants and gather information from what they tell her. Haylene, she is bubbly and controls the air. Her additional ability is becoming invincible and she can hear sound waves across long distances. If you've seen my Avatar The Last Airbender episode, you may have noticed that I'm really fond of power systems based on elemental forces. This one fits right into that category. Not to mention, it spices things up with mystical elements and psychic abilities, adding another layer to the series. The show takes other liberties with a girl's powers too, like having them reach the pinnacle of their abilities by turning into their very element, which was beautifully set up in an earlier episode. At that moment, they feel ethereal and uncanny. Once they reach that amplified power level, they're no longer themselves. The episode where they achieve this opens with their subconscious lost, unsure of who or what they are. It adds weight and consequences to their decision to tap into that power. I was convinced that if the seasons had continued, we would see more of the darker sides of their abilities, and maybe even explore them further. The series, especially in its first season, felt gritty, and I personally loved that because it added depth. I never really saw this show as fairy-oriented. To be clear, I enjoy fairy shows, like Wings or the Tinkerbell movies. What I'm trying to say is that Witch carved out its own identity, setting itself apart from Wings with its own strengths. For example, the world of Meridian starts off genuinely eerie and unwelcoming, filled with grotesque monsters that pose a real threat even to the viewer. What helps a lot with that is the character designs. For starters, the girls' transformed outfits eats them up, probably to perform when they are at their best physique for fighting against all kinds of enemies. As far as I know, there hasn't been an in-universe explanation as to why it happens. In terms of themes, I would have preferred the team to be a bit older to begin with, since when I was a kid, I never thought they were 12 to 14 years old, most probably because I remember them in their guardian form rather than their human one. It would be interesting to see them as college students even. Their clothes aren't flashy or covered in intricate patterns. All of them share the same color palette, with variations in their individual designs. I wish we had more seasons and actually got to see what the artists would have done with the girls' designs introduced in the comics, but unfortunately that never happened. The girls themselves, I think, have more interesting designs in the comics, which feature incredible artwork. The blend of American cartoon style with anime elements adds a lot to its appeal as a TV series though. The creatures in this world are also distinct. My favorite is by far the Tracker. He's so creepy with those bats coming out of him and the most evil looking dog I've ever seen accompanying him. I was genuinely be scared of him. The way he was designed with those glowing red eyes and that shrunken skeleton face made him super unsettling, and I loved that because he felt like a real threat. The gargoyle also had a unique and terrifying design. He felt like a proper monster with those razor-sharp teeth and that giant red eye. He looked like something straight out of the Witcher series. And let's not forget the first form of Sandpit. When the girls entered the pit for the first time and Tarani lit up the silhouette trapped in the column, it was absolutely petrifying. Plus, it highlighted the importance of watching out for sandpits, which were a major fear for most kids in the 90s and 2000s, right up there with piranhas. The magic system is also really fascinating. We have the concept of hearts, which are the magical source of the respective world or realm. They can be an object or even a person. They hold mystical essence and grant unique abilities. A heart can only be given willingly, otherwise there's a chance it will be rendered unstable. One heart I've already mentioned is the Heart of Kandrakar, currently in the possession of Will, the leader of the Guardians of the Veil. It's the heart of the fortress of Kandrakar, located in the center of infinity. It allows the girls to transform into their guardian forms. It channels their power through magical spheres called Oramirs. The lore behind its creation: in a kingdom long ago, there was a famine, and the Jade Emperor didn't care about his people. His daughter and a nymph called Sinjin did, along with her father's 4 dragons. To help the people, 2 dragons boiled the ocean water and the other 2 lifted it to the sky, ending the drought. But the emperor got angry that they acted without permission and locked them up in 4 mountains. His daughter chose to join the dragons and became one with them, creating the pendant of the heart. Another one is the Heart of Meridian, which is actually Elion. Elion lives on Earth, but unbeknownst to her, she originates from Meridian and was brought here by locals from that world and raised as their daughter. Being a heart gives her a ton of powers, including creating multiple copies of yourself, opening and closing folds in space, which the Heart of Kandrakar also does, and mind control. She's a seriously powerful being. And Earth has a human heart too, with witch vibes. Meet Lillian, Cornelia's little sister, who has a black cat as a pet. That cat ends up becoming a familiar and gains the ability to talk. The Heart of Earth can bend reality, transmit magic through conditions to others, and grant magical abilities, like here, where Napoleon the cat and the Dormouse are transformed into warrior beasts. And Matt, Will's boyfriend, turns into a dark angel, who also had one of the sickest songs in the series. There are other elves with hearts that we've seen in the series, like Zambala, where only Sedian trees reside. The heart isn't the main focus here, it's another jewel-like object, but we actually expand the lore by adding layers to how those trees live. For example, when they're in grave danger, they go into hibernation mode. They form a cocoon, strong enough to protect themselves, but they risk never waking up again. Those small details made the world so rich and immersive, and I always wanted to explore more of those moments. The main villain who really raised the stakes is Nerissa. She's the former keeper of the Heart of Kandrakar and the wielder of Quintessence. There were fears that the heart was corrupting her, so it was decided that it would be passed to Cassidy, the former guardian of water. Nerissa wanted the heart back, and they fought over it, resulting in Cassidy's death. One of the writers from Season 2 even stated that they were romantically involved back then, adding another layer of tragedy to an already traumatic event. It's not really stated in the series, but I like that headcanon. Nerissa was remorseful, but she was still imprisoned for years. Once she escaped, revenge was the only thing on her mind. She laid low, took on other people's forms, helped W.I.T.C.H defeat the main villain of Season 1, and used everything and everyone with the goal of becoming the ruler of all magical dimensions. She uses the death of Elion's biological parents to her advantage. While disguised as someone Elion trusts, she gives her a necklace that supposedly belonged to her parents, and traps her inside it. Remember Matt? Yeah, that guy. He first got that dark angel form when Nerissa transformed him, locking his subconscious deep inside. Nerissa also firstly gave the beast form to the Dormouse. She invades the girls' minds, trying to exhaust them by creating vivid nightmares and killing them inside those dreams. She wants to bring back her old team, whose members are either dead or too old to fight. Nerissa manipulates all of them by exploiting the weaknesses in their hearts and controlling their minds. She even goes to Cassidy's ghost and shows her mother, who Cassidy deeply misses. And she goes even further. The previous guardian of air, Yanglin, Heilin's grandma, refuses to side with her. So naturally, Nerissa creates a duplicate of her, gives it life, and throws it into her place. The duplicate develops wants and needs, which makes her vulnerable to control. Haylene doesn't know she's fighting a copy. She thinks her grandma betrayed her and it breaks her spirit. It's heartbreaking because Haylene is always bubbly and cheerful, and I felt so bad seeing her so sad. But the saddest episode for me, Season 2, H is for Hunted. You see, the Heart of Kandrakar can create duplicates of the Guardians. They look and act like them, but sometimes they're a bit airheaded. They're called astral drops and aren't truly sentient. They're summoned when the Guardians have to go on a mission and their absence needs to go unnoticed. Eventually, they are reabsorbed back into the heart. Will creates a duplicate to run errands, and Nerissa spots it. Her plan? Give it life. Have it take Will's place, take her heart, since technically it belongs to her, and offer it to Nerissa in exchange for a real existence. You spend the episode watching the duplicate experience life. Simple, everyday things, and by the end, she doesn't want to be reabsorbed. She has Will's powers, they fight, and eventually Will understands and accepts her. She decides to fulfill her wish. I don't really know how that would work, since there would suddenly be a duplicate of her strolling around town, but those trivial questions are never answered. The duplicate fails, and Nerissa, who has been watching the whole time, strikes Will with lightning, but the duplicate jumps in front of her. Instead of dying, it's decided that Will reabsorb her, making them one. And she does, resulting in her experiencing all the thoughts and memories the duplicate had while sentient. W.I.T.C.H, creating trauma for its audience since 2004. And that's all I wanted to say and managed to fit into this video. I'm really sad that the series ended in Season 2 because for me it took the best parts of the comics plot and turned them into a super compelling cartoon with lively characters, and it was already setting up for Season 3. Not everything was perfect and there were some parts I didn't like, but overall it was a solid series that I still rewatch even now. Thanks everyone for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Ring that bell to be notified when new videos are uploaded to the channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye!